your name and the place you were born.
Watkins Green, born in Greenville County, December 11, 1942.
Okay.
To Watkins Green, Miss Lucille Peregrine.
Okay. Could you state to the best of your ability, all your brothers and sisters?
My oldest brother, John Hugh Peregrine, and I have a younger sister, 8 years younger than me, Bernice Louise Green.
Right. And name all of your children. If you can think of their birth dates, put that in, and then also their ages.
My number one son is Maurice.
Hold on, let me stop 1 second. Okay. Could you state for the record your children, their names, ages, birthdates, if you can think of them? You can start from the oldest to the youngest.
Well, my oldest child from my wife and I is Sharon Flowers, which was the marriage name, born on February 23rd, 1964. And Cosmo. Number two is Eric. He was born February 28th, 1965. My baby, Tammy Sue, were born in 1970, June 30th, I believe. However, I have two, what I call my little jits children, that born when I was a young man, which is one Maurice Whitaker's 42, and Eugenia Bailey, which is 41.
Okay. Thinking back to your childhood, could you maybe just give us a short snapshot of, we know where you were born at, but give us a snapshot of, starting from childhood on up to now. Just give us a brief bio of where you've been and what you've been doing up until now. And this isn't meant to be, it's not meant to be a full blown out, but just how you ended up in Hampton, Virginia, sort of thing.
Well, let me start from when I first could remember. I can go back to 1 or 2 days of my life, probably when I was about 4 or 5 years old. Not a whole lot, but just some scenes I remember when my father got his leg broke, so I couldn't have been more than about 4 or 5 years old at the oldest. And I stayed in the fairgrounds some of my younger years, and eventually my parents moved to a place they call the Dye Plant Road, and we eventually ended up Washington Park. It must have been in the mid-50s, I guess, and then my father passed away. And it was not too many years later in which my grandmother passed away, my mother's mother. And it was a real bad time. I wonder sometimes how I made it, but I was around good, strong people, uncles and aunts and some neighbors, good, strong people that instill some values into you. The only thing you're going to get is what you work and get for yourself. So it was at one point in my life, I must have been about 17, so I decided I'd venture out. Very little education, no money. And I remember getting on the bus to come to Newport News. I remember writing my aunt a letter, my aunt Geneva, which was one of my mother's third or fourth sisters on well on the line. She was living in Newport News. I wrote her a letter and told her I wanted to come there and get me a job. She said, okay. So I proceeded that little trip. And I remember making that trip with all of my belongings. And when I got there, she asked me, she said, well, you bring your clothes? And I had all my clothes in one behind bag. And I used that joke sometime. When I was working, I would tell the guys when I came to this city, I came with a pair of black charcoal paints that hadn't been cleaned in so long, they looked like a stovepipe. And that the shoes I wore were so tight that it put cones on my feet. That's how tight time was at that particular time. But I came down to Newport News and I got me a little job working on the beer truck. I was looking, no education, no money, not the faintest idea where to find a job. But after looking for 3 or 4 weeks, the man called me one day and said, "Hey boy," which is a fighting word for a lot of people, especially people of my race. And when he said, "Hey boy, you want to work?" I thought that was the greatest thing that ever happened to me. And I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "How old are you?" I said, 18. He said, "Don't you tell nobody you're 18. Now you got to tell them you're 21 to work this job." So I worked that job for 9 months, and I never missed a day. And I applied for a job in the shipyard. Didn't get it at that time, but meeting a friend of mine's, meeting a young man at that time wasn't a friend, but I met him. He became a good friend, and he was working in the shipyard. He helped me make contact with the right person that helped me gain employment at Newport News Ship, and I eventually went inside Newport News Ship. And I did many things, and I had a lot of rough days in there, but the days got better as the years went by. Just about that time, I met my wife. I started spreading my wild oats and running around the street, having a good time. But in 1963, she and I got married. From that marriage, we had 3 children: Sharon, Eric, and Tammy Sip, over the period of years. But I stayed in the shipyard about 35 years. I worked in various departments, worked many jobs, worked a lot of part-time jobs. Most places ran Norfolk Shipyard, Horn Brothers, Leggett Department Store, Mason Department Store, Hispaniola. I washed dishes at B's, and I had a many jobs. But I always maintained my job in the shipyard. I thought that what it took for me to get ahead. Hard work did learn me one thing, that if you're going to have anything, you got to work for it. And then I eventually became a Christian, which was the best thing that I've ever done. Gave my life to the Lord. And I can say that every year of my life has been better and better and better, and sometimes I wonder if it can be any better, and it get better. But the Lord has been good to me. All my kids went to college, they got degrees, and still married to the same woman. That's more than a lot of people can say. And I was having a conversation, must have been a couple of years ago, and I shared this with a few more people. And during that conversation, a lady was telling me how she and her daughter had fussed. She fussed at the daughter while the daughter would fuss at her, and they would fight. She said one day the daughter came home with a gun. And it made me think that all of my children, that we have never had an argument. We have never had words. So that means we never had a fight. So that's really saying a lot when I listen to people talk about the children. So we never had a cross word. We always got along together. And even now, we still do things as a family. And I don't think that just happened by accident or by itself. When they were growing up, we did things together. We only had one TV in our house, in which we definitely could afford more than one. But we had one TV. That means everybody had to look at the same TV. We didn't have TV in every room where everybody would go to their own little closet and do their thing. We had to share the TV. And I feel like that was a great contribution to our relationship. Even now, them being the age they are with their children, we still can do things together. So life has been good, and when we started coming up to the present, even though I have not had the greatest health that I would like, but I'm still here, you know. And I lost my mother some years back, way back, which was a setback to me. But the Lord given, the Lord taken. got a great nephew. I don't know if you all know him or not. A little Dominic Green. I call him Little Dominic. He's not a little Dominic now. He's Big Dominic now, grown man. But he is an inspiration when I look and see from which he's come. How the Lord has blessed him. And it's a fact that all experience costs you. It don't come cheap. It might be money, might be penalty, might be incarceration, might come from long hours of hard work. Usually we can pick the price of our experience. So I can say that he has been an inspiration. Made me feel good to see him grow up and be a productive young man. And so we expect the same thing from him. When he look around to some of his younger cousins and nephews and nieces, we don't know what part in the family life he'll play later on, but I'm sure whatever it be, it will be good. But I can remember a lot of things about my growing up. It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. I remember my grandfather, him coming home a lot of time with his head bad, but he was a hard worker. I've never known him to miss a day from work. And some of those things we pick up from our families. But over the years, one of the most important things that I've learned is the Lord bless all of us with certain things. And the things that he bless us with don't necessarily mean that it's all for us. Some of the things he bless us with is for us to be a blessing to somebody else.